unless the protesters that gather are organizing and doing something with the energy of the people, building communities, making sure that people aren't becoming homeless, making sure that people have something to do with their talents, with their energies. That is how a protest can be productive when people network. Just coming together to scream and to yell and release energy, well, it's something that I've done for years. Many, many years. I have megaphone in Portland, Oregon, and in fact, I did a lot because I liked it. Why? Because it felt good. But there's a difference between feeling good because you're shouting, either through a megaphone, holding a sign, or marching through the street, and actually doing something. The reason why it feels good is because they are a herd of animals. Moo, moo, moo. If they were actually resisting this racism, then they would be able to make friends. And that's the truth that you need to hear if you're one of them. But you may not be. But that's the truth, because, I like a lot of videos from Secular Talk, not all of them, not all of his opinions, but some of the truths that are coming out. But they love to, look at the wake-up call. The people are resisting Trump. The Democrats are coming back in power. I was plenty miserable under, the reign of the Democrats. To me, this isn't about the Republicans being the great Satan or being the great evil or the great unconsciousness. Okay, when we talk about the military-industrial complex, it is bipartisan. So white America in general, specifically Portland, Oregon, is very good at hiding its racism. America is very good at hiding its racism. And instead of feeling good about the protests, I actually feel isolated. I actually feel sad. Why do I feel sad? Because these people are acting like they have no conscience. They're acting like they're engaged in the protest to make themselves feel better about themselves, their own ego, rather than helping the people that their tax dollars and their politicians have actually killed. So I'm actually believing now, whether you like this or not, that there are some really strong genetic differences then, maybe, between white people and Middle Eastern people, since there's such great disdain for them. Maybe these are different alien species that are at war, or one is literally trying to kill the other. And I know how that story is going to end in God's world. So I'm looking at this from a different perspective than others. It's not like a lack of education. There's something like inherently wrong with these people in America, with their lack of ability to befriend somebody that's trying to befriend them or help them. And that's me. That's my life story. And that's what you're doing. You're listening to my life story. And I'm telling you, that's fake love and light. It's 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 fake freedom. Along with the fake freedom for the right ringers. Here's one of the right ring freedom. The freedom to bomb their pretty little hearts out, as Trump said. To bomb their little hearts out. See the language he uses? Bomb their hearts out. They want the freedom to kill and destroy while taking other people's freedoms away. That's the freedom that they want. They want the freedom to take away other people's freedom. That's what they live for. That's who they are. That's why they were bred into this Lord of the Rings reality. Where was I in all this? So, continuing to walk here barefoot right now, the park, in the sunlight. They're experiencing these energy changes. Back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, I would megaphone a lot in Portland. During those days, more so during Bush, people did appreciate my energy, and they weren't being hit 24/7 with hate, 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 hate. And there wasn't as much hate, 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 hate of things perceived to be conspiracy theories also. So people were more receptive during the Bush days to, say, hearing about 9/11. Right now, on both the left and the right, people's protests are very narrow. It's very, demonstrative of just the animalism that's within, rather than actually addressing the real issues. So like I said earlier, people are getting off on the pleasure, but I always wanted to make friends with people at the protests. you know, maybe even like a joint living situation. And a lot of people, they actually like to just blame others. You know, that's what we see with a lot of people in Portland. And with regards to Antifa, I see these as white supremacists because of their assaults on Eli Ritchie and their assaults on other people of color. I don't believe that they are anti-racist, but they think that they are. But they're actually very close with people that have served time in the military. So I'm so different as a human being that there's no one that's ever gone to bat for me in the world of journalism. A guy that's half-half to actually tell their people or tell their flock, hey, we realize you guys are concerned about terrorism, you know, and misogyny, and conspiracy theorists, and short guys, and brown people. We realize you're concerned about terrorism and foreigners and all this, but here's a guy who's a mix of different things, who's not really the monster that your people, your teachers, your parents have made him out to be, essentially. That's obviously what I'm working towards, trying to get some allies in my corner so that we can talk about these things. Because there are things, you know, about me that a lot of these white people aren't going to like that are old hippies, that are boomers. Very discriminatory, and it's the original white supremacy that I experienced in Portland, Oregon. The lack of assimilation, no. It's not looking like them. It's not being tall and white. It's that simple. So they're not in Portland, Oregon with their protests. They're having a good time. And when people do that and they're having a good time, they hallucinate shit. They think they're winning. And when they think that they're winning, they're not going to like anybody they label a conspiracy theorist because they're a party pooper. So what they're doing is they go there. It's a spring event. It's like a beer festival. They walk around like it's Saturday market, and they people watch. They go, hey, Bob, how are you? Look at you. Oh, I've been fighting fascism since 1945, and I'm now 102. I'm still fighting fascism. Motherfucker, but you're not in a concentration camp. What do you think it's going to be like for some of people like me in Portland, Oregon? Now, the people in Portland, Oregon forgot me. And I was on the air. I was on TV for many years. Cable TV, Comcast Cable. And there's something weird about those folks. The only people that would call me were like the stalker types, were the weirdos who had no friends, who just want to talk to anybody that would talk to them. And they would just call Access TV all the time, really weird folks, and a racist would call, get that sand nigger off the air, somebody would call. And that guy, you know, Bill Olson would tell me that guy called and said that. Very rude, very discriminatory. So I went through that for years, and I ended up homeless in Portland. These white Portlanders, they like to talk about how they care about the homeless. They never cared about me. Okay, I never had a place to go and shit and poop. You know, and I figured, you know, maybe like somebody in the Portland media should talk about me as a survival story, somebody that was on Access TV, who became homeless, who left Portland, who continued to fight for Portland's favor from afar. There aren't other people that do those things, folks, that YouTube about Portland, that left Portland. I've looked for them. Trust me. And then, of course, due to the algorithm on YouTube, which a lot of people don't talk about, I don't see anybody, if you're white, you're going to go to the top of the algorithm, or black in some cases. If you're perceived to be something else, it's going to be very difficult to get through that shadow banning, especially if you've covered certain things. So they don't realize that we're not winning. There's nothing to celebrate. Okay? What people need to be doing is helping the people that are most vulnerable. And it doesn't necessarily come in the form of a sandwich. It comes in the form of fucking relocating somebody before the doors get kicked in. That's what it means. It means being a part of the Underground Railroad. That's what it means. It's about saving people's lives. Now, I've been promoting this idea of the Underground Railroad for many, many years, but especially the last year. Okay, and I don't see anybody trying to help me. So, as far as I'm concerned, death is coming. Of course, death's coming, my friend says. But no. We shouldn't be looking forward to death and for death to come for us quickly, or for us to just accept it. You know, by me being from Portland and being of Portland, I have a Portland spirit. And for me being distant from Portland, it's like being disconnected from family, which I've never really had much of one. And so I feel like I need Portland. I feel like Portland needs me. I don't know that it's right for me to be back in Portland, but for them to be thinking that, you know, they're winning and whatnot, it's just a spring day. Well, they're out and about and they're looking at the booths. and they're having some coffee, and they're having some Thai food. I feel sorry for Portlanders for what's happened to their city, but they're also very, very privileged to be around a celestial, magical energy that's literally feeding their auras from the ground up. Did I stutter? There's magic there, folks. And because of that energy that's oozing out of the earth, they're just spinning around like vampires, not spiritual, thinking they're having a spiritual experience, that the world is changing, when they're just hovering around like bees, a fault line that is emitting geomagnetic activity, which plays a role in the weird, which plays a role in the kink, which plays a role in the dark, which plays a role in the portal town, Portland, all that stuff, all that mystical information I have. That's why they're different. But it doesn't mean that they are better than other people. Because obviously, in the end, and I already made a podcast about this, due to blue state racism, I had to come to a red state. Okay? Due to blue state racism, these white liberal people never wanted to hire me, never wanted me in their homes, never wanted me to be their friend, this one really upset me, never invited me to a party. And as a kid growing up without, siblings around me and not going to parties and not dating, I wanted to go to parties. I wanted to go to raves. I want to do some ecstasy. I want to be up all night. I want to party. I want to be around cool people. But me and my information was never considered cool. Why would it still not be considered cool when now everybody is supposedly concerned about war and fascism? There's something about me that they don't like. Okay? When it comes down to it in the end, right? None of them look remotely like me. And they show their true colors with not hearing out what I'm saying. This speech has been made to Portlanders so many times. I talked to Willamette Week in 2016, right? How, I felt that was a place where I faced some of my greatest hardships. And I said it, and I had concerns for the future, and I said it not to invite bullying, but to invite friendship and people from my past into my world. And the knock on the door that I wanted, metaphorically speaking, email inbox-wise, never came. Woman who did her role in getting me fired from Ruth Chris Steakhouse, when I set down a tray too loudly, she messaged me and she thanked me for exposing Jesse Sponberg. But that was it. So, Portland is actually a place of broken dreams. They just don't tell you that. I've always been mystified. What is the real reason why my father left or felt like he had to leave? Same thing with my mother. Same thing with my brother Bruce, who moved away and then ended up in Eastern Oregon, whereas both my parents ended up on the East Coast in different places, one in New York and one in D.C. I hold on to a lot of trauma from Portland, Oregon, and it might even be affecting me in the afterlife. Certainly, it is believed that the things that we don't work through in this life, they carry forward to the next life, which is why, in my final years of life, however long I will be alive, I want to find love if it's possible, if God will allow it. I just read the other day about a fitness influencer who died at the age of 46. Somebody drove up with a motorcycle and shot him dead. He was very fit, very large. He talked about mindful dieting and parenting. In the comments, somebody said, you know what? He deserved it. There's billions of influencers. We need less of them. Dehumanization. That's what we're talking about. In that same sense, Portland has dehumanized me many, many ways for not realizing why I suffer. While it shows compassion to white homeless, to other people that are there in the city, I'm from the city. I've given the city a lot, and yet I am forgotten. It doesn't sit well with me. No King's Day. No King's Day? No King's Day. I don't know, but Portland, the rest of America, I think you need to look in the mirror.